And welcome to Gaming Fixx. I'm Frank, and I just realized we've been live. That's weird. So, live starts kind of weird. But anyway, I wanted to come on here. So, part of the reason we're late is because we're using StreamYard again. Because, like I said, one thing that we decided to do this month was buy a camera, and it did affect our some of our budget. So if you want to help out with that, you can. The way you can is by getting yourself a T-shirt like this one. But on StreamYard, this is really gray on StreamYard, but this is actually a green. If you've watched the show before on Restream, you probably know that it's a nice Kelly green, but it's weirdly gray here. Might do that as a color just because it's kind of might be funny. Anyway, on tpublic.com stores, gaming Fixx, you can get yourself some teas and help us out, and we really appreciate it. And that will help us to get the show running a little smoother. It's always good when we know that we have funds for the broadcast, so we can broadcast the same way. It makes people happier. There's some things that we haven't been able to keep up on, so it would really be useful if you could help us out. We really appreciate it, and we understand that with the whole COVID thing and all the different funding issues, but it's obviously not it's not mandatory or anything like that. We just ask for some help. We'd appreciate it. Thanks for your time on that. And without further ado, let's talk about how I got my game on. So Saturday was my birthday, but I decided to have a big birthday bash, as I do on usually I used to have it at the house, but because of where I live now, that wasn't possible. So the good folks at Guild House provided me a table pretty much until they closed. Actually, till they closed. Little past till they closed. It was really cool, really nice. Had a good time. Had some friends over, and I played some games. Played a Magic game, multiplayer, which was fun, and played with my new deck, which is my red-black commander deck. And the way you do that, if you ever are in a situation like that where you've only got commander decks and then somebody else only has standard decks, commander decks are legal in standard. Well, if everybody agrees, then commander decks are legal in standard. The only difference really with a commander deck, or I guess I wouldn't say standard. How do I say this? Like regular, like if someone's deck is built one way and your deck is built, with 99 separate cards, each one being, an individual card, and then you just don't play with your commander. You put your commander in your deck, and then if you get it, you get it, kind of thing. So you can do that if everybody agrees to it, and it was a fun time. I used Vorpal Sword. Vorpal Sword, by the way, is really broken. Somebody decided that it'd be cool to give a phage ability as a piece of equipment, and that's kind of insane. Just for a refresher, what it does is it equips for 1 black mana. Equips for 1 or 2. No, I think so it costs 1 to put on the field. It costs 2 to equip. And then it gives Death Touch +2 to your creatures. To the creature that it's equipped to. And then if you spend 8 mana, which seems like a lot, but it's not necessarily a lot, especially not in a multiplayer game. In a duel, it might be a little harder to get to. But in a multiplayer game, it's pretty easy to build something like that. So you get 8 mana, and you swing, and if you hit target player, then they lose the game. So I was able to get that combo out, and then a bunch of plebes, and then roll one player, and then the other player was doing really well. She just had her. Well, I don't have to hide her, but I was playing against Jen and my friend Mark, and like Jen had a really good deck. It had this mantle, which is really good. It doubles your life every time you attack, but it doesn't have vigilance, so it was tapped out when I swung the sword. So, and the monster was already on the field, so there was no summoning sickness or anything. So just swing, and there we were. So that was pretty cool. That was a fun time. And then I played for the first time Unstable Unicorns with my friend Jennifer Kroll again. We hang out a lot, especially since we work on the show, and she sometimes comes in here on the chat. I don't know if she comes here on Twitch, or I don't know. I know when she does chat with me, I think she probably chats through Twitch. I don't know how YouTube is for that, and maybe Twitch would have been the better thing to send this to. I'll have to think on that. Because I think this month I'm probably gonna have to use this more often, so I'll figure that out. But anyway, we played Unstable Unicorns, and it's interesting. It plays a lot like Blue Deck, a lot of denial type stuff, and since I'm very used to the idea of keeping things off the field and denial, it was kind of a fun game. I don't know. It's probably luck of the draw. It probably depends on the unicorns you get and stuff too. But it was fun. Not a very long game, like maybe 30, 40 minutes. And then we finally got to cut our teeth on Batman the Animated Series. And I'll tell you, I really enjoyed this game. It's real fun. It took a minute to figure out how it was working, but it's a cooperative. It's got a nice feel like you might not necessarily do that well. And then you start like kind of chipping away at the bad guys. It was fun. Looks like we're going to try and play that again. I guess it was a Kickstarter, but Jen picked it up at Dice House Games, and we like Dice House. It's just they're a little further away, so I don't really go to Dice House as much because I'm not usually in the Fullerton area. But I grew up in Fullerton, so I like Dice House because they're the heir apparent to Game Castle, which I used to go to as a kid all the time. Like me and my friend Dan would hang out and like watch, just go in and watch all the gaming and look at all the different stuff because we didn't have much to buy. I remember the first time I think we went and actually bought something at Game Castle. We bought like the little miniatures because we were gonna do a battle royale, and we wanted to have we thought we should have figures. It was funny because I remember we got figures and we didn't have a mat. Like I just thought about that. Like I don't know why we bought figures, but we didn't have a mat. We didn't have monsters or anything. We wouldn't do that. So we do Mind's Eye, but like it's like, oh, I need to get a figure. I don't know why I needed to get a figure because I know there was this one game he developed that was kind of fun. It was this ball game where basically like you're playing with a black ball. Look it up in the monster manual. It's also what's Spear of Oblivion. A black ball is a sentient one, and a Spear of Oblivion, a Spear of Annihilation. Sphere of Annihilation. So a little round, bowling ball of annihilation. If it touches you, you die. And the idea is you're sitting there and like trying to use forces to control it. It was kind of weird. It was a game we used to play. So then I guess you need figures because you had to put one on one side, one on the line, and then you would be rolling and stuff. But it was, I don't know, it's weird. I just thought about that. I'm like, man, we got figures and we like the figures, but I guess I got a figure just to kind of think about what my character looked like. But it really is weird because I don't think I ever we didn't use hexagonal maps back then. But it just got me to thinking about that. I really so anyway, we played Batman, and Batman was really it was a fun game. Definitely want to play it again. Um, got some cool birthday presents. My friend Frank didn't come in, but he swung by. So shout out to Francis Joseph Burns. You should buy his comic books. I should buy his comic books, but I'll be a minute before I can do that. But when I do, I definitely will. He doesn't have like a huge line of comic books, and that's always my issue with comic books is I like to get graphic novels because I like to get like that much, book for my for my for myself. Like I don't really like to just be reading like one comic and paying like $5 for it. I don't know why. It kind of bugs me. It's because it's small or whatever, and I don't know why. Because like I know the amount of art that's put in there. I know the amount of work that's done. I've actually put out a comic book myself, and yeah, it's it's a daunting thing. So I should totally be willing to like lay down the $3, but I just want like more. I want to, and I'm willing to pay more. I want all of the story. I guess I don't know. I guess because I read so many novels as a kid, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But anyway, that was a good time. I had a lot of fun, and actually before that, I went to Adventure League. That was before my birthday. That was on Wednesday. I kind of booked the event for Friday on Wednesday, and I went down there, and I'd forgotten to sign up on Warhorn for the game for the sequel to the game that I was playing, and I went to the DM and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you're full. I'm on your waiting list. He's like, oh, why don't you sit down, bud? We're good. I'm like, okay. And then the other guy had an issue and he left, and that's fine. But we played. It was a fun time. I've been playing my spider, and that's been fun. I've been using it as a tank because it's got its hit points as opposed to my actual hit points, and then it's also got a nice attack rate because you've got the ability to ensnare people and the ability to bite for 2d8, so it's a nice attack. And it's very versatile because it's a spider, so you can climb up and be pretty safe in most situations because you have the tremor sense and all this other stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's been fun. I've been looking for a spider, oddly enough, to represent my spider. So I looked. I don't have it in my bones collection. I got a bunch of bones a while ago on Kickstarter, and I don't have it there. But I was looking at, and we played a pretty fun game. It was funny. A friend of the show and somebody who, if you ever get a chance, you should definitely check out. Go on to Twitch TV /BID_P, and you could watch the Cinematic Sorcerer, usually about 3 almost every day, which is really cool. But like 3 every day, find out all about some gaming and just different thoughts. And but he was talking about trying to remember now. He was talking about if you've got a if Man, my brain just went. It just went away. I hate that. That just happens. I mean, and when it happens, you just gotta, I guess, go with the flow. I know I was talking about. Oh yeah, that's right. Socialization. That he was like saying that sometimes you can get trapped into socialization when you intended to be gaming, and it's just one social thing, and then you don't really ever get to your game. And I've dealt with that, and I understand. But I was basically saying in the chat that I'm more that I guess I'm more social. I'll talk about the movies or some other thing while we're playing. I stay to the game, but I do like little breaks where I talk about like a couple things or whatever. But I had the first interaction in Adventure League where we were not talking about something else. We were talking about something in game. That was kind of interesting. We were like talking about how the golem might fall if it because he kept using this shatter spell on the golems, and it was making him mad, and they'd get up and they'd start attacking, and then like he shattered it, and we didn't know it was going to wake up. So we're trying to figure out if it did shatter, how it would. It was just talking about like how the golem might fall, which I thought was kind of funny. But anyway, um, that was a good time. I like playing with Pepper. He's a really cool guy, and you should go and join one of his games. It's really cool. Like at the very beginning of the game, he gave us a real contract that we signed with a real pen, and he does a real good time. And like there's a small table fee, but it's not a big deal. There's a $2 fee for Adventure League, but that's fine. That's just what Guildhouse is asking for to host, and it's a real good time. It's real nice. Had a good time. I'm going back tonight, uh, and gonna play Frogs and Fangs. I looks like that'll be fun. So then after that, back to the same old same old. I played some Empire and Puzzles as I like to do, and just played in the war today, and it was it was kind of rough. I played in fought three different groups. One of them just couldn't get any headway. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go stomp this one team because I want to get at least one win. And because I try to use my team to do the most damage I can. So I try not to just squash the ones that I know I could just beat instantly. So I'll push my guys a little bit so they're doing a little bit more. But it doesn't necessarily give me more points, but it does more for the team. So I try and do that, and sometimes it backfires and even it's weird because the numbers don't even add up sometimes on Empire Puzzles because sometimes it's like you think that that the fight is going to be an immediate win, and it's not. It's kind of strange that way. So I did that. Nothing. Oh, Christmas is going, and of course, I'm going to probably participate in that. They have some good ones. Like they have Frosty. They have Mother North, who's really good. She actually has a revive, so she can bring back your heroes, which is really cool. I wouldn't mind getting Mother North this year. I already have Frosty. Frosty's really good. He does defense and he drops down tokens that protect. and they do exponential damage as they are counted out. So they do automatic damage to the to the enemy. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that was pretty fun as far as Puzzle and Empire. And then I played some Fortuna's Edge. That was on my birthday proper, and it was weird. I didn't end up going to treatment. I planned to, but a bunch of things happened. My my friend who gives me a ride wasn't available, which doesn't usually happen. And then I was going to take a bus, but somebody offered to give me a ride, and then they just totally flaked. So when they flaked, it was like I would have had to take a bus and been really late. Like I would have been at treatment at like 11 or 12. And then I would have basically been in treatment during the time in which I would go to the game usually, and I wouldn't have my tech, and I wasn't liking that, so I just didn't do that. So yeah, but we went and played. I played Fortuna's Edge, and this time we were hunting dinosaurs, which was kind of fun. I hate to toot my own horn on this character, but he's really good at this stuff. He was at first, everybody's using guns, and he's got his gun out, and then the dinosaurs start to like try and ram him, and he's just like, all right, I back myself up against a tree military style, and I have my hand on my weapon, and when they come in, I'm just gonna slash at them. So like they'd come in and I would just like slash. I killed like two of these creatures. And it was weird. It was a hunting expedition, so it's like you could actually look at it and be like, I don't know if that's 100% moral or whatever. So it was interesting. Also, I had a really big week, and then I watched all of Ruska, or also in Japan known as aggravated aggravated Retsuko. So basically, it's it's put out by the same people as Hello Kitty, and it is about a office worker who is a red panda who works with other coworkers that are also other animals, and she does her work at a world, and then she goes and like does death metal in in her little karaoke bar to get rid of the angst or the rage. And she was having money problems again, and this season is really good. It took a good. It was weird because it almost feels like it might be the end of the series because it had a definite conclusion that, like, it might be the end for me. This might be where I get off the bus because to me, everything that happened, I'm like, okay, cool. But then decisions have been made, and those decisions mean that I don't necessarily know that I'm going to follow this person as a character anymore because they're not intriguing to me anymore. Because that decision is not my personal decision, and so it's probably not something that I feel like I really support. Um, and you just have to watch it to understand that. But it's basically, um, you know, I I guess it's a noble choice to decide something like that, but I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. I'll just say it's really good. I enjoyed it. Then my friend Skylar. Oh, I should mention we didn't have game this week. Supposed to be the big battle. Supposed to be the big battle this week. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. We had somebody who got a job at Amazon, and it looks like we may have to reschedule or figure it out, or maybe even get a new player. I don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, that didn't happen. But anyway, Skyler was telling me all about Super Crooks. And Super Crooks is a story from Jupiter Ascension. And Jupiter Ascension was a really good story about, I think it was one of the better superhero shows that I've seen. There's like this dark reason that they all got their powers, and it was going into that, and it was really intriguing. It's from Mark Millar, and apparently they're not going to do any more. At least they're not doing that anymore, because I guess it wasn't as popular. So we're never getting that ending. But from in the same universe, there's something called Super Crooks, and it starts out with this kid. He's not treated very well by his mom, and he tries to be a superhero. He fails ultimately and decides to go to a life of crime. It's very quick. I've been watching. I think I watched 5 episodes of it, and it's been really good. He's got like electrical powers. His girlfriend has the power of suggestion. And then he's got some other supervillains that aren't amazing, and so it's starting to go into him going into the big time and doing a big time score, and it has a very Ocean's 11 feel to it, which and actually that's what Skylar told me that made me go, okay, I'll check it out, because I love me some Ocean's 11. I love Ocean's 11 and Leverage more than I love superhero movies. So, like, you mix that in, and that's going to be a good time for me. Makes me wonder if they're going to do if Marvel ever intends to do the Thunderbolt series, because they're kind of different, and that'd be interesting. Or I don't know. I'd love to see a Guardians of the Galaxy where they're going to rob a place. That'd be interesting too. But not everybody would be down. They'd be like, I want superheroes, not space robbers. But I think I'd like to see some space robbers. Play some Starfinder and do a job. That'd be fun too. Ideas. Maybe that's what I'll get. I don't know. So anyway, that is what happened for my week. So talking about the news, not much happened. And I don't know if this is going to be a super long show, but we'll talk about this as long as we can. So Ernie Gygax isn't in the news again, but I think, I don't know who it is, but someone from the TSR group is back and trying to get money for a lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast. And their whole thing is that they don't want to be bullied by Wizards of the Coast, and they want to be able to just, I guess, to use their TSR name. And they want, and one of their big things that I thought was weird is that we want to go back into the basement and back into the basement and play games and have pizza. And like, while I respect and remember those times, I kind of do like the times of being able to go to the guild house and play some games, and and not be a pariah. I don't really wish to be a social pariah that much. And I like the idea that, I can go to all of these different places now and play games if I want to. I can go to the guild house. I can go to Cafe Requiem, get myself a nice, health potion, and play either, a standard game like, like a D&D style game, or just a board game or whatever. Or I could go to a board game cafe, or I could go to these different places. I don't know why would I want to. Well, I don't want to go back to the basement. I like the fact that gaming is mainstream. I like the fact that it's totally acceptable to, play Dungeons and Dragons, and a lot of people do. I don't know why, why would we want to stop progress? I mean, and if you look at like the past case, this is the guy that was that was calling people that were trans disgusting. This is the guy that was, saying we don't want to deal with political issues. We just want to play our games. And at the same time, and saying, yeah, we have an open table, but, of course, why would we discuss that, or why would we bring that up? Or, and when I look at that, and I also compare it to, like we've discussed, races in games, which is a thing that's being, worked with, where, the idea of saying that a race of human has a automatic downside, or is automatically bad, is bad, because it's saying that a group of people would be automatically something, and it really is a built-in racism that it has to go, even though we've been doing it that way for years. The idea of using heritage, like is found in Tasha's Cauldron, or the other book that we mentioned in the past, that you can get, so that you can do a heritage instead of saying that all orcs are this, or all, there are different cultures, and you can have a different look at different cultures, but in other words, right now we have gaming that is more open, where if people have issues with the game, they can say something with the consent abilities, where you have the X card, or you have the checklist where you can talk to your players and find out what it is that they want within their game. Where we're a very open community, where we let people, or at least with Gaming Fixx, we try to encourage everybody to come in, and of course, other groups that we're with, we really support Back in the Deck, which also has a lot of the same message, that we want to allow all people to play games, enjoy those games, and not to be questioned about if they're really serious about the game, because, oh, well, sure, you've got a shirt on, but, were you there, and do you know all these issues and all of that? Or, oh yeah, you want to play D&D, but you're a girl, so, did your boyfriend bring you in? As opposed to, it doesn't matter how you got to the dance, you're here, we're going to dance, let's have some fun. And I just feel like that is the antithesis of all of that, because basically it's like, oh yeah, we want to go back to the basement, want to go and play games how we used to, and think how we used to, and act how we used to. And I think we needed to grow up, and we did, and we are. And more we try and figure out ways in which to be respectful of each other, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And sometimes some of it doesn't work, and it doesn't make sense, and it's not the best solution, but I think you should never go back. I don't want to go back. I'm not going back in the basement, I'll tell you right now. And I certainly wouldn't, support a lawsuit based on this. It's like, it's basically like, oh yeah, you don't want to be mainstream, you want to be, like a cool kid or something like that. And I'm just not interested in that. So I think that it's really bizarre because this guy isn't even like, I could understand if this was Ernie Gygax, who at least has a name that's connected to Dungeons and Dragons, although very minimally, because I have relatives. You can have relatives that are related to you, but they don't necessarily have the same way of thinking at all. And it's like, I heard that he had a character that was named after him. He barely played, and now he sees a way in which he can make some money, from what I understand. Like, that's basically how I kind of see it. And I think that this whole thing, where, I mean, he had to change, they changed to Wonder. There was the whole thing where they were calling people names, and it's not good, not good. And I don't know, I just really feel like we've come so far and we can't go back. We've uh, we've tread new ground. We've become better, and I'm not saying we are the best, and I'm not saying that we're doing the best in the community that we can achieve, but I'm saying that we definitely don't want to go back. There isn't a this is the way that we should be doing things. There is no way in which we should be doing things. There's people that have issue with, for instance, Coyote and Crow, because it's an envisioning of the world um without imperialists coming in and taking over these countries and enslaving people and all the things that happen. So it's basically looking at like indigenous and uh, just different peoples and how they would, and it's a fantasy setting. And people are like, oh, well, there's people that don't like that. But just because they feel like it's too statementy, but it's not too statementy. It's like, we'd like to play this game, or really what the company's saying is, maybe you would like to play this version of reality. Maybe this would be fun to you. If it's not fun to you, then you could just be like, oh, that's not my thing, and that's fine. But it's not hurting anything, is the thing. People saying, hey, we need to be more respectful of each other in these situations, is not hurting anybody. And yes, the sometimes the community goes too far, and I've seen that happen. I felt that happen. But at the same time, it's like, it's usually, most of the time, they're good actors that are trying to make things better. And sometimes they're not. But the idea of, we're going to shun all of it, is just not something that there's this group that they're not really into the openness and everything. They're like, well, we're just going to play games. We don't want to talk about none of that, different stuff. We just, we play our D&D, and our D&D should be like this. And it's just like, why? And it's like this, it shuns technology. Yeah, it does. It does. It shuns technology. It's like why are we going to be using that roll 20 when we can just all get in our basement and play? Like you have roll 20. I mean, that's definitely not an in the basement type thing. That's something where we reach out and we in West Virginia, and I'm playing with a someone who's in Oregon. And in the past, I've run some games where they were all from Norway. It's it's this opportunity that's there, and you don't have opportunity when you go back into the basement. So I mean, I'm probably taking it too far, and maybe that's not what they're saying, but at the same time, it's just like I look at it and it's just like we've gone so far, and it just seems like there's these folks in gaming that I don't want to game with personally that are they want to bring everything back to some kind of way that it was, and one with a way without some of the great technology, some of the different ways of thinking. You look at all the things that the Forge did, where they had just different ways of play style. Where you look at what the way D&D was played before you had games like I can't think of some of these games, but like Dungeon or Burning Wheel or we had different ways of thinking and applying things, or like how now we have Blades in the Dark. We have these different styles of gaming that are available to us because we all thought differently. Instead of going, oh, well, we want to play our D&D and we just want to play it this way. And I mean, these, and we're not going to play Mind's Eye. We got to have our miniatures, and they all got to be painted up. And I don't know. And I know I shouldn't go to a draw, but something about it sometimes does seem like it comes from that part of the country sometimes. But yeah, it's not right. Um, I mean, I have a friend who would probably also agree that we got to get back to our roots or whatever. So that is how we are going to end things today. Apparently, I don't have anything else. This is going to be a slow month because Christmas. So we'll probably have something where we're going to talk about like different gifts that you can buy the gamer on your list or something, some things like that. But maybe have some cool guests. Lewis may stop back by the program. We'll see. It was great having him. It was a fun time. Right now, I don't. I may. I'll try and play a Twitch game after this, so you might want to tune in at 12. But it's possible that I may not. It just depends. Like I said, accounts are a little bit different because right now we bought a camera. It's a beautiful camera, looks nice. It'll be awesome for black and white, and obvious, and for some of the shows coming up that Gaming Fixx is going to be going and covering. But unfortunately, right now we're kind of getting on our feet, and you can help us out by going to tpublic.com /stores, and you can get a shirt like this or a banner or a pillow or all kinds of things. And let me see if there's a deal still going. I think there is. Make sure. Might not be. I don't know. It's let's see if there's a deal here. It's not. It's weird. All right, move that. Move that. Let's see. Also, you can go on to Patreon. You go onto patreon.com/realgamingfix, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you can help us out and get lots of cool things. We're working on our cool things list. We're still working on the interfaces for Ultimate Showdown, because now that we're more visual, it's going to take a little bit more of a moment just to set it all up and make it work really nicely. What is this? This is terrible. That's what this is. It's not doing well right now. All right. Yeah, and the computers give me issues, so I don't know. All right. So right now, all of our shirts are $14 off with a 35% off site-wide. So I just want to let everybody know that. Also, if you are in Hornbrook, California, you should stop by Baits and Bites, and you can pick up. They have some great deals. They have soup and sandwiches, as well as good deals on floaties and different things that you would need to be on the lake, as well as I think they might also have some bait. I'm not sure, but check it out and tell them that Cousin Frank sent you. And that's going to be all there is today. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Gaming Fix Live.